Okay, it looks like some of you had missed the first lecture, which talks about some of the course expectations, so I'll just hit some of the highlights here. So this comes from the Chapter 0 slides, at least the PowerPoint presentation I'm showing right here. And one thing to note is that it's very important that you be able to access D2L. This is the hot link here. Check this regularly to get information about homework, announcements, and other things. So let's see, if we go to the website, to the D2L, this is what the D2L looks like. Okay, and the important things to note here is the announcements section. So here's the welcome section, and then if you scroll down, you'll see their materials or some important announcements that you should be aware of. Alright, and then the other thing you should be aware of is, see this quiz section here? That's where we have, our homework assignments. So if you go here, you'll see, a bunch of homeworks here that are there, and then you'll see due dates that are given. So be sure that you pay attention to the homework section. And then the other important section here is the content. If you go to content here, you'll see course materials here. Most importantly, you'll see the syllabus for the lecture. You'll see some other things. This is the lab syllabus, the lab schedule. So you should not be in the dark about this. All right. And then you'll have lecture slides. I've got lecture slides in PowerPoint format. Also have them in PDF format. So you can take your pick as far as what format you choose, what you would use. One thing I would note here is that as you're following along in the lectures, I think it's probably best just to download one lecture at a time, because like I'm teaching this class for the first time, and so I may make some last-minute changes to, like, let's say chapter 4. We're not there yet, but I'll probably make some last-minute changes to the slides, and so it's just to ensure that you get an update slide. I mean, you don't have to print them all out immediately. So we're finishing up this chapter here. So maybe you just print up to that chapter, and then that will be good enough. And then when we get close enough to finishing it, then you'll print out the next, okay, etc. Okay. Next thing that we'll have, this will have like an exam checklist that you'll go to, and then you'll see keys to like past exams. So like after you get the first exam back, I'll post a key up so that you can look at that to help you study for the cumulative part of the final exam. Okay, so those are just important parts of the D2L section. Okay, one other important, so we'll just look at content, announcements, quizzes, and then the other important thing to look at is grades here. So if you click here with grades, you can track your grades. I won't do it here because you'll see the grades of your classmates because I'm the instructor, but you'll see your own individual grades. They'll be posted at least once a week, most of the time twice a week or so. So you should be able to keep track of what of what your grades are. Okay. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So that's the first page here. Right here, I have here is in the PowerPoint my just a screenshot of my syllabus. So you'll be using the conceptual physical science textbook here that's required for the course. Now note that there's a $75 version, and then there's the $88 version. So I recommend the $75 version, the ones that's custom made for Middle Tennessee State University. Now I guess this information will probably be out of date because you should have your clickers by now with regard to buying it, but you can buy them on campus. Get your clicker on campus, but be sure to register your clickers. Okay, so if we go to the announcements section here, right here you'll see some step-by-step instructions for registering your clicker. So that's down here. And one thing to note here is that do not use my, I mean, you can read it in the details here. Do not use my the same email address here that is on on my syllabus. When you register your clicker, it's not going to work. Just use the old one, which is chusui@mtsu.edu. Use that one because you know, that's what the website recognizes, and you know, the website, you know, doesn't recognize the new email format that MTSU just switched over to. Okay, so anyway, let's go back to this. Note my office hours here, and you know, if you need additional help, you know, by the way, you know, I've noticed some typographical errors there. So, for example, really this should be MF Monday and Friday 3 to 5, and that F should be you know, delete that. It's just on Thursday. But anyway, that's corrected on the latest version of my syllabus on D2L. Okay, one important thing to note is that students must pass Chem 1031 with a grade of at least 60% in order to pass the class. You know, if you don't do that, then, well, you know, you're not going to pass the course. It's an automatic F. And so that's just the department policy. So I don't make that policy up. Okay, and so here, this is what your clicker should look like. Okay, I think this should be old news to you by now, but you know, that's what it looks like. I included an interesting article about how an interactive class generally, you know, students tend to perform better on exams than just traditional lectures. You can read that. Another thing to note is, like, when you're registering your clicker, this is the ID, that the device ID that you want to use. I mean, a lot of people make the mistake of using this one. That's not the device ID. That's actually the model number of the clicker. So if you look in the back, that's what it looks like. This bottom number is the one that you want to use. Okay. All right. Now take a note that there's these are the weightings of the grades here. So basically, clicker points are 10% of the grade. Homework is 15%. Midterm exams are 15% each. So if you notice the breakdown of the grades, the homework is quite important. It basically counts like an exam grade, basically. And then the laboratory grade is 15%. Final exam is 15%. And then basically I use pretty much a 10-point scale for A, B, C, D, F. Now I do use a plus or minus grading system here. So so usually, and I only apply that to the 59th, 69th, 79th, and 89th percentiles only. So if you have, so if you're in the lower part of the percentile, it's a plus. If you're in the higher part, it's a minus. So for example, if you look at this, if you get like a 79.4%, that's a C plus. A 79.6%, that would be a B minus. Okay. Then also, be sure to take note of the dates for the exams here. They're posted here. Final exam, you know, is that set date, so the university sets that date. And these are dates. This is the last date to drop without a grade. This is the last date to drop with a W on your transcript. Okay. And mention that there are basically two parts of the final exam. One part of the final is basically covers material after the third exam, you know, till the end, and then, you know, as I lecture, you know, you'll figure out what that is. So so that's the mandatory part. So that's a non-cumulative, and then the cumulative part basically will just cover the same materials as in these first 3 midterm exams, and that could be used to replace like a low grade. So so suppose you did bad on the first exam. So if you take the cumulative part, that can replace that first grade. That is if you get the higher grade. I mean, you get the, whichever is the higher grade, the first exam grade or the cumulative part, you get to keep the higher grade. Okay, so that's how that works. So that's it. And the cumulative part exam can also be used as a makeup exam. So that would be the only makeup exam that's available in the course. Okay. And then if you follow the syllabus, we'll try to at least follow the order of the subjects here, and then you'll see that they'll coincide with the PowerPoint or PDF files that I've got online. And then one suggestion is that you can have these printed out before you come to class, and then make notes in the margins on the sides. But so we'll just start out with physics and chemistry, and then we'll eventually go to earth science, and then we'll eventually end up with astronomy. So anyway, that kind of gives you an overview of the course, of how it's graded. And again, this is the breakdown in the grades, and just be sure to do your homework. That's when you practice. That's a good way to practice for the exams.